Okay, so you've been asked to make a program. You're going to be asked to make a train booking system in your assessment. So I'm not going to show you how to make a train booking system because that would be cheating, giving you the answers. But I am going to show you how I would approach the task to make it easier. Because when you look at the task, it might seem a bit overwhelming because you've got lots of things to do. So I'll show you how to break it down and help you to find the things that you need to make it work. There's also a couple of skills that I don't think you've been taught yet that are in that challenge, which I'd like to make sure you know how to do. So this is my task. I've got to write a program for people at CLV. It's going to ask what part of the school they're in. Then it's going to check whether they're in either the JLV or the SLV. And if they're not, it's going to give them a message and exit. Then it's going to ask them what year they're in. And it's going to check them if they're in a year that actually exists. If they're not, it's going to give them a message again. And it's going to exit. And then it's going to print all the info that they've put in on the screen. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the task. So the instructions that you get in your train booking system, you might want to do the same as I'm doing now. I'm going to paste them into my program here. Let's just make that a touch bigger so you can see it. Hopefully, see that a little bit better. So at the minute, if I run it, it's going to give me an error message because this isn't a code. So let me just put some hashes at the start of every line. Remember, a hash makes something a comment, so the program ignores it. So now when I run it, it just ignores all of that. Right, write a program for people at CLV. Well, we don't need to put any code there. So the first thing we're going to do is this bit here. Ask what part of the school the person is in. So I need an input to ask somebody to type in what part of the school they're in. Now, if I can't remember how to write that, I can go back to my journal. You had to do simple inputs in the first lesson in Activity 4. So why not look back at your code and see if that will help you come up with your input. So just to do this quickly, you would say something like part of school, I'm just going to call my variable part, equals input, which part of the school are you in, SLV or JLV. Right, the next thing it's going to do, so I'm doing this line by line, so I'm not looking at all of the code below, I'm just doing it line by line to make it easier. The next thing I have to work out, it checks they're in either the JLV or the SLV. So I can do that using an if statement. If part, which is the name of the variable there, equals, because remember always use equals after there. So I could say if it equals JLV or SLV, do something. There's actually an easier way to do it. It's a skill you haven't learned yet called not equal to. So I can actually say if the part is not equal to JLV and the part is not equal to SLV, then I'm going to do something. So not equal to is that sign there. So if the part that they type in is not equal to JLV and the part that they type in is not equal to SLV, then it's not the correct part. So I'm going to put a print in, an output. If you can't remember how to do outputs, you did them here in Activity 3 of the first lesson. So print, this is not a correct area. Type SLV or JLV. Let's see if that works so far. Which part of the school are you in? SLV, shouldn't do anything wrong. But if I type in something random, this is not a correct area. Type in SLV or JLV. Now we actually want the program to exit here as well. So to do that, we just type in exit and open and close brackets. There we go. So now not only will it give them the message, but it'll exit the program and won't go any further. Right, we're now going to ask them what year they're in. So this time, we're asking for a number. Now remember, when we ask for numbers, we need to get an integer. You did integers in the input with maths lesson. So you had to do something here where you asked for a number. So you'll work out how to ask for a number by looking back at that code. So let's put in the input. So year which is what I'm going to call my variable, equals, it needs to be an integer, so I do int input, please type in your year group. Notice it's got the double brackets at the end, which is exactly what it should have. Now it's going to check they're in a year that actually exists, from year 7 up to, say, year 13. So same as we did above, it's going to be similar to that, but we're going to use the greater than and less than sign. So if year is less than 7, because we start at year 7, we're going to use an or this time instead of an and, or year is greater than 13, because that's when the school finishes, colon. So we've checked. And now we're going to print a message. So if they're not in the right year groups, print incorrect year group, and then again we can exit. So let's see if that works. Which part are you in? Let's put a correct one in. Type in a year group, let's put something wrong, year 6, incorrect year group. This time we'll put in the correct one. So I'll put in year 8, and it hasn't given me an error message. Now we need to print the info on the screen. So this is just simple outputs, print. Print, you are in the plus part of the school. And then we want to print the year group you're in. You are in year, and then whatever year they've typed in. Now notice I used a plus in the first one because I'm adding a string to a string, and I used a comma in the second one because it's an integer that I want to put with a string. So that's how you do that bit. So let's play that. Let's get everything right. SLV, year group say 9, and this time it says you were in the SLV, you were in year 9. Okay, so that's what that program would do, and that's how I would approach that. So what I want you to note from that is we're breaking it down step by step, so I'm not worried about the whole program and getting overwhelmed. I'm just doing it bit by bit by using the instructions to help me. Think about how we did this bit here. If part is not equal to GLV and part is not equal to SLV, that might help you in your train station program. The exit command might help you, and remember that you might need an integer as well. So good luck with your task. Hopefully that's given you a little bit of information to help you. And remember, this video is on the class blog, so you can always come back to it, and you can pause it to have a little look at the code to remind yourself of things I've done, and then maybe think about applying that to your challenge that you've got.